We are back. We haven't been canceled yet. Talk the line. Colin, Cowherd, Jason McIntyre. I'm Charissa Thompson. I'm coming to you from New York. You guys are in the studio in Los Angeles. We had an incredible Sunday of games. We got a couple more tonight. Now, Colin, you know, we get the opportunity to host the show on Sunday together. You told me your lock of the year was Seattle. The Dolphins +6. Both of you guys lost on that one. How mad were you, Colin?
Well, Miami made a huge defensive blunder, as J-Mac knows, right before the half. And I was telling somebody, that's why New England's so good. They never do that. And it was this really bad. I mean, there were like 15 seconds left. Just get to the locker room. Miami buys a cornerback buys a fake guy wide open downfield. And I'm like, why am I doing this to myself? Why? It's so frustrating.
It wasn't your best week, 1-3-1. J-Mac, you were 2-3-1. But hey, a lot of people lost on Sunday. You know who won? Paula. Paula won $100,000 of Terry's money. Wow. Went 6 for 6 on Fox's Super 6. So shout out to Paula for Fox Bet. More information on that later. All right, let's get into week 5. Let's take a look at the lines right now. Colin, what stands out to you in the early goings here of the Fox Bet lines?
I think the line that jumps out to me, let's see. How about, Indianapolis, the Colts -2 against Cleveland. I like the Colts. So Cleveland comes off a historically big win, big emotional win for the Browns, and now they're going to go up against a defense that leads the league in virtually everything. And now Cleveland's thinking, okay, Nick Chubb's a little banged up, and this looks like a game that Cleveland. Now everybody's buying into the Cleveland issue or the Cleveland scene, but I would say Dallas maybe the worst defense in the league, the Colts maybe the best defense in the league, and they don't have to give up a field goal. Mm-hmm. And I just kind of feel like I'm getting the exact same defense every week with the Colts. The number's right. It's only -2. And I tend to take the other team. If I see a team win a huge game or a historically relevant game, and Cleveland's still a pretty young team, they come back down to earth a little. I like the Colts -2 there.
Okay, we're gonna break that game down a little bit more, but now that we know where you stand on that one, we'll get J-Mac's take later. But quickly, when you look at this board, Jason, what stands out to you just real quickly, and then we'll break them all down.
Yeah, Arizona favored by 7 against my New York Jets. Charissa, we don't know about the status of Sam Darnold's throwing shoulder. I think it was an AC joint. And for Arizona, off the loss in Carolina, they didn't look good. Kyler Murray not looking like an MVP. But this is a great buy low spot. I mean, we just saw Brett Rippon, a guy in his first career start, shred the Jets secondary for like 250 yards. I think he had a couple touchdown passes. I think Kyler Murray could go in there and destroy the Jets, my Jets, and maybe that'll get Adam Gase fired. But I like Arizona big in that spot.
Okay, cool. So those are what stands out on the Fox Bet board right there. But now let's break it down. Our first game on Fox for Thursday Night Football, Bears and the Bucks. Tampa Bay favored 5.5 here. The total points is 44. Colin, do you like this?
I would consider strongly the under on that. I've had success this year. Yesterday was a push for me. I've had success on Brady and the Buccaneers because I do think they're getting better. And I think Chris Godwin's going to get healthier. I think I'd probably take Tampa -5.5. I like the under because I think Chicago can only win this game one way. And I think Chicago knows they can only win the game one way. So I would take Tampa -5.5 in the under.
I'm with you. Tampa's definitely the side, Colin. I mean, come on. This is a Tampa offense that is so explosive right now. They had Ronald Jones go over 100 yards rushing, and Chicago can't run the football at all. They had like 28 yards on the ground against the Colts. And meanwhile, Tampa Bay held the Chargers to like 30 yards rushing after Austin Eckler went down with the injury. I think Tampa Bay right now, this is a definite buy team for me.
Yeah.
I'm with you. If Godwin comes back, Mike Evans just shredded over 100 yards receiving. I think Tampa's definitely the side here.
Yeah, Leonard Fournette and Chris Godwin out in yesterday's game. Their status is unknown. We'll check in on that later in the week. The Bucs also averaging 32.3 points per game during their 3-game win streak. So putting up points on the board. All right, our next game, we got Chargers Saints. this is we've got Rams, New Orleans, I'm being told. Great. 7.5. What do you like here, Colin?
Is this Rams or
Chargers, New Orleans?
Okay, Chargers, New Orleans. I would probably take the Chargers. 7.5. Little bit of a shootout without Derwin James and Ingram. The Chargers are kind of limited defensively. Brady had a pretty clean pocket in the second half, especially. But I think Justin Herbert's for real. I think one of the reasons he's succeeding is they have really nice tight end and wide receiver weapons. And I think New Orleans beat a Detroit team that's quit on its coach, Matt Patricia. So that again, if it's 7, I may pass. But I think the Chargers offense is pretty interesting. And I think the Saints beat Matt Patricia, who's sort of dead coach walking. I'd take the Chargers here.
It's early, but I'm looking at the Saints, Colin. Remember, historically, we've seen Sean Payton struggle in September out of the gate, right? Figuring everything out. There was no preseason this year. Now, watching them score 5 straight drives against Detroit. Remember, they were down 14-0, and then it's touchdown. Just you started to get this sense that maybe they're rolling, and they were down 6 starters, including both of their cornerbacks. If they get healthy for this one, I don't know how Herbert moves the football. Second half against Tampa, no Austin Eckler, who's now going to go on the IR. They had 1 touchdown. They could not move the football.
So
Josh
Eckler is IR. Then.
Yeah. So now it's like, can Josh Kelly carry the load? And I don't know about him. I think he's a kid out of UCLA. So I would look at the Saints here as they start to get right. Remember, everybody wanted to bury Drew Brees after that Raiders game.
Yeah.
He kind of bounced back strong against as you said, a crappy Detroit team. So I would look Saints.
Justin Herbert, how impressive was he to watch?
You know what?
The last couple games, he's just been like so much fun to watch what he's been able to do.
Well, he was a Rose Bowl MVP. He was a Senior Bowl MVP, and everybody was just so enamored with Burrow and Tua, but Burrow and Tua play with much better talent. So at Oregon, they had very marginal receivers, very marginal tight end targets, and it was a very conservative offense. So he didn't put up these big numbers, but the thing with Herbert was he got better every year at Oregon. And so, he's a local kid. He grew up right by the university, so he was never kind of a national recruit to that level. And I think he got overshadowed by the story of Burrow and the story of Tua. But Herbert's.
Yeah, I like confident. I like someone with swag, and he seems like there's not a moment too big. You find out a couple hours before your first game that you're going to start, and he's had over 900 passing yards in the 3 games that he's played. So it's been a joy to watch him thus far. Moving on, Eagles, Steelers. The fact that I'm going to say that the Eagles are the first place team in the NFC East is sad. But that's the state of the NFC East currently. Pittsburgh is 7-point favorite here, 47.5. What do you like, Colin?
Well, Pittsburgh didn't play, so they're going to have, 2 weeks to prepare for this game. Philadelphia plays late Sunday night, still has some real issues on their wide receiving core. I'd probably take Pittsburgh. I'm surprised the number's not a little bigger here. Tomlin's a veteran coach. They're healthier. And I've been kind of a seller on Pittsburgh the last 2 years, but that I would have guessed 8.5 is the number. Philadelphia still, Carson Wentz was just, doing it with duct tape and, Band-Aids last night. So I think I'd take Pittsburgh here.
100% agreement. This is a Philadelphia team. Wentz got hit 10 times by the JV unit of the 49ers. Now he has to go against the best defensive line in the league with Watt and the kid Bud Dupree. I don't know. I'm with you, Colin. I don't know how this isn't higher than 7. I think it's definitely a spot where Pittsburgh, remember, this was a week they were practicing for Tennessee. It's not like they had a bye week and everyone went on vacation. This is a team that's still locked in. Their offensive line's now fully healthy. They were down a couple guys. I like Pittsburgh here. And if you remember, Colin, the year, I think it was when Philly won the Super Bowl, they destroyed the Steelers. It was like 34-3 in like 2016 or 17. There's going to be revenge here for Ben Roethlisberger, Mike Tomlin. I like Pittsburgh a lot in this spot. I think the line will go up.
Big Ben averaging 2+ passing touchdowns in the 3 games so far. Steelers, though, just a quick note, 3-7 against the spread in the past 10 games when they're favored by a score. Next up, we got Colts and the Browns. Colin, you hit on it off the top of the show. This is the game that you're looking at right here. So we have your take. I'll get into it again. But real quick, Jace, who do you like in this one? And then we'll go back to Colin.
I'm with Colin. I don't know what our record was this past week when we agree, but Indianapolis is the side. By the way, this Nick Chubb injury is massive. I know that they can just plug in this other kid, Dearness Jackson. Never heard of him. And he had like 97 yards. But that's against the Cowboys, who can't stop the run at all. And we're talking about a Colts defense, as you said. They're one of the best in the league right now. Now, I would monitor the Darius Leonard injury, the linebacker, left with a groin against Chicago. But Carissa, if you watched any of that Bears game, okay, they had nothing until the final minute when they were down 19-3 and they went 90 yards for a garbage time score. I like Rivers. I know you're close with the Colts front office. This is a team, I'm telling you, this is a team that's really going to be a contender in the AFC. They lock you down defensively. You can't run on them. Then you got to pass, and they're sitting back with the talented young secondary. I like the Colts here, definitely. Baker Mayfield, we've seen him winning thanks to turnovers. They lead the NFL in turnover margin. Getting a lot of easy points off turnovers from the opponent. I like the Colts.
Only thing that concerns me about the Colts is I think they're a fairly limited offense at this point. They're not real dynamic. They can't move the pocket with Rivers. So, they're dependent on Jonathan Taylor running the football. So I think they're going to win a lot of low scoring games, but -2, I'm comfortable with that. I like the Colts.
Yeah, the Colts have only allowed 11 points or fewer, you guys, in each game during their 3-game win streak. As you mentioned, the number one offense for the Browns, averaging over 200 yards, but a big reason for that was the anemic Cowboys defense. Next up, we've got the Giants and the Cowboys. Line here is 9.5. For Dallas, who can't get it together, the point total 54.5. Colin, what do you like?
Well, I like New York, and here's why. I mean, Joe Judge is a new coach, new system, no preseason. And so they were really struggling. And then you watch them yesterday, and you're like, you know what? This is kind of what they could be. Is this the new Giants, where they're pretty good defensively at the point of attack on the defensive line's got some nice talent. Judge, I thought the game plan was solid. Daniel Jones was mostly comfortable. Without Barkley, they're not overly dynamic. But you watch that Rams game, and I got to tell you, until about a minute left, and this is the least amount of yards a Sean McVay offense has ever had. So I think they're pretty good up front defensively. They have a unit I like. With Dallas right now, I really wonder with Dallas. They drafted CeeDee Lamb, and you look on the defensive side, Dallas's most expensive players are not productive. DeMarcus Lawrence is not productive. Jalen Smith is not productive. They let go of Byron Jones, their best corner. Their money doesn't appear to be well spent. They have Zeke. They spend a lot. They don't give him carries. There feels like there's an infrastructure issue. Mike Nolan, the defensive coordinator, kind of feels like a journeyman hack that McCarthy owed a favor to. I just don't see it. Dallas, I think I said this today. Jerry Jones hires coaches that won't challenge him, and Mike McCarthy hired a defensive coordinator that won't challenge him. And I don't see what they do well at this point. I would take the 9.5 here. I think the Giants I saw yesterday, I kept thinking, okay, they're not great, but this could be what they are, which is low scoring, competitive, play hard.
Yeah, and the Giants angle. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say the Giants covered as a 12.5 point underdog in the Rams. I mean, I got screwed over on that game. I'm still bitter about it, but go ahead, Chase.
I couldn't tell. Were the Rams just sleepy after the 2 trips to the East Coast? Something seemed off, but I will say this. Jason Garrett revenge game for your Giants, if you like that. Remember, spent a lot of time, long years in Dallas. Now he gets to go against the team that kind of booted him. If he can get this Giants offense clicking, and I don't know if that's possible with Danny Dimes. He started 16 games. He has 1 or more turnovers in 15 of them. Okay. Cowboys have won 6 straight, as you see there on the screen, against the Giants. I want to make a case for New York here. I don't know, Colin. It almost feels like a stay away. The over seems like a lock, right? But I'm going to ask you this. Ezekiel Elliott has 1 carry over 15 yards this year, and he fumbled the football on that play. How good is this offensive line? Like, I watch this team, and it's like all they do is Dak drop back and let me just chuck the ball only because we're down 20 and the other team's in prevent deep. Well, I just don't buy Dallas at all.
No, I think their offensive line, it's kind of patchwork. Tyron Smith is no longer he's like a 13, 12 game player. You're just not going to get 16 out of him. So Travis Frederick obviously retired. So it feels very patchwork. They didn't take advantage when they did have the best offensive line in the league. They just didn't take advantage. Zeke is not the same. This is the 3rd straight year. He ran so hard. He's such a powerful runner, and he looks like a veteran pitcher who throws about 92 and needs to throw about 96. He just doesn't quite have the burst he did 3 years ago.
Yeah, this defense is giving up 38 points per game. So that's great that Dak's got all these like magical numbers and 400 yards and 400 this and all that. But when your defense is giving up an average of 38 points per game, it's a problem. All right, moving on to the Vikings and the Seahawks. Seahawks are rolling 4-0 against the spread this year. They're a 7-point favorite here. Colin, you taking them off?
I bet against Seattle way too much.
Yeah, what are you doing? Why are you always bet against them?
But I love Minnesota here. Kirk Cousins, when he is comfortable, is a very B-plus quarterback. Delvin Cook right now is statistically the best running back in the league. Justin Jefferson has emerged as a potential superstar wide receiver. Seattle doesn't get a pass rush. If not for that late first half touchdown Miami surrendered, Miami could have had a chance to go in for a win against them here. They fly all the way back. I would take the 7 points with Minnesota here. It's one of my favorite bets.
Don't do it again, Colin.
I know. I'm always against the Seahawks.
I feel like, Bart Simpson writing, I will not be a bad boy on the chalkboard. I will not bet against Russell Wilson anymore. I'm done. I was on the Dolphins, and it was awful. Ryan Fitzpatrick had a chance and failed. But, it's Russell Wilson. This is a night game, I believe, Carissa, and I'm just not going. Yeah, I'm not doing it. I agree. Dalvin Cook's been great. Seattle has the number 4 rush defense efficiency wise. I think Fitzpatrick of the Dolphins led them rushing. So if you stop Dalvin Cook, now you have Kirk Cousins having to be the guy to carry you. And I know the Seattle secondary has been beat up, but I'm done going against your guy, Russell Wilson. I'm done.
All right.
Well, also this Vikings pass defense ranked 29th. Russ could have a big day. He could cook all day long against.
By the way, are you in New York or LA?
I am in New York. I was just watching your show right there.
I thought that. So is that your house?
Yeah, it's an apartment that I live in New York. Yeah, so I'm bi-coastal. Woo. As I explained to Jason, I'm going to marry really rich next time.
Yeah.
So then that way I get a first class seat on these bi-coastal trips as opposed to sitting in 34B. When you marry for love, you're very uncomfortable.
I know. That married for love thing is a big hoax.
It totally is. Kyle, I still love you. All right, we are moving on. We've got a little Monday night action. We got 2 games here. So we're looking first up at New England and KC. Of course, no Cam Newton due to his positive COVID test. 10.5. I'm not touching this thing at all. What do you guys got? Colin?
I would take Kansas City. I would. This is really an interesting year. A lot of favorites. Yesterday I took 3 favorites, went 1-1-1. I took 2. I liked underdogs. I went 0-2. This is the year where the defenses are vanilla. Good offenses are covering the spread. I've never taken favorite. I've always been like Matt Ryan. Find me a quarterback where I get almost a touchdown. I love it every time. And tonight I like Green Bay. And tonight, I'll take Mahomes to cover. He scores so quickly. I think it's one of those New England could look really good early, but they have nothing. They have no athletic ability at quarterback. Sony Michel's out. They have no vertical presence. I think Kansas City, New England is ugly for about 2.5 quarters, and then they just score late and cover.
Yeah, short of special teams, freakishness, or a defensive touchdown, I don't know how the Patriots keep this close. I think that you said they're starting Brian Hoyer. Yeah. So if you're the Chiefs, all week you practice for Cam in the run game because you have like the 30th rated run defense in the league. And now you got to pivot on, I guess, Saturday and decide, we got to prepare for Brian Hoyer. When was his last start? Is there any tape on Brian Hoyer in the last 2 years? Maybe Belichick pulls off a masterpiece here, but it would stun me. I like the Patriots, and I know the audience is going to laugh, but the opportunity to maybe tease this game with the Falcons or Packers, if you like, aside, down from 10.5 to 3.5. Maybe that's an option for you, but double-digit favorites, we know long-term, you cannot win betting on double-digit favorites.
If you guys don't want to get in on this, though, I'm always a prop bet kind of person as a side. So I got Travis Kelce for my prop bet here. He's been great all year long, averaging 88.5 receiving yards over the past 2 games and 76 receiving yards on the year. So I'm going prop bet 75 over and a score for him. Our other Monday night game, we got the Falcons and the Packers. The Fox bet line here is Green Bay favored by 7. Colin, you say, ooh, why?
It was 6 some of the week. 7, I'd probably take Atlanta. Green Bay is all banged up at wide receiver.
No Devontae Adams.
Yeah, I'd probably, when it was at 6, I'd probably pass. But at 7, I'd take Atlanta tonight. Matt Ryan's played well against Green Bay. And I think Aaron Rodgers, listen, Atlanta's been in their games. They don't close well, but I think Green Bay wins, but I would take the number.
Kind of with you. Now, I will say this. Atlanta's going to be down 2 of their top 3 safeties. And even though Aaron Rodgers doesn't have Lazard, who killed the Saints last week, or Devontae Adams, if Aaron Rodgers can shred this Falcons defense, he's got to get in the discussion with Josh Allen and Russell Wilson for MVP. Because Aaron Rodgers quietly is having a great season. I mean, they don't stop anybody, but they're averaging, 38 points a game. A slight lean to the Packers, but, entertain that tease idea if you really want to get exotic and enjoy.
Nobody likes a tease.
I was voted biggest tease in high school. Oh, wait, that's never mind. We're not talking about me. Okay. The over is a combined 6-0 in Falcons Packers games. For this one, I also like a prop bet here. Aaron Jones, we know what he can do. He's averaged 100 plus rush yards in 3 of the last 5 games. This 76 is easy, especially since no Devontae Adams. Yeah, exactly. I know, exactly. Laughable. Easy money there. All the Fox prop bets are on Fox Bets. So if you want to just get in and not risk a lot, but enjoy the game from a different perspective, make sure you guys check out all the Fox Bet prop bets that they have there. I also got a great Fox Bet offer for you guys at home. Patrick Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers, 2 passing touchdowns each.
Yeah.
$50. All right. Easy money. So Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, 2 or more passing touchdowns, each boosted from plus 100 to plus 150. So your $20 bet pays you $50 on that one. Colin, we got a fan question from Luke P, who says, what team have you had the most success betting on over the years? Well, we know it's not the Seahawks. And do you consider that success when placing bets today?
There are teams a couple of years ago, the Jets, I think it may have been last year. You get into, I think you would agree, you get into a rhythm with certain teams that you feel pretty good about them. I clearly don't have a rhythm this year. I'm 9-10-1. I would say yes. There tend to be teams. I watched a lot of New England football. And you get a sense of sort of how they play in big spots through the years. I've always been pretty good on New England. I tend to avoid, I try not to bet on bad teams getting a lot of points. I try to stay away from that. So I've been pretty good on the Rams through the years, pretty good on the Patriots. This year, I don't have that team yet. Carolina's a team I'm really watching. I feel like
Matt Rule.
I lost my first bet, but as I watched them this weekend, I thought I'm starting to think they're a little undervalued.
And that's without McCaffrey.
I know.
Interesting.
So Carolina's a team I'm going to really closely monitor because I feel like I have kind of a good vibe going forward on what they are.
How much has no preseason affected your guys' perspective on?
Well, the defenses are. I think I said this last week. If I was a quarterback, I could get guys. I saw Derek Carr and Tom Brady. Guys, let's go throw it around. You can't, you can't call a linebacker doesn't call a linebacker and say, let's go practice our drops. So the defensive guys don't look in good shape. The coverages are very vanilla. The quarterbacks and the receivers feel miles ahead right now. There's so many blown coverages.
Do you think that's why we're seeing so many points this year? I mean, this is historically the most points we've ever seen.
Yeah. Also, in the preseason, you didn't have a lot of defensive guys hurt. Offensive guys hurt. You have the stars mostly healthy. So I just feel like the defensive coverages are vanilla. The defensive players are catching up, which they often do in September because of the warm weather. And like Detroit has Matt Patricia. You'd think they'd be a good defensive team. They're atrocious. They don't look. They're just blowing lead after lead. New Orleans defense was atrocious for the first 3 weeks. Was better yesterday. So even defenses I like have been kind of underwhelming.
Yeah. All right, guys. This has been another great week of Talk the Line. We appreciate the time. Jason McIntyre, Colin Cowherd, I'm Charissa Thompson. Join us next week right here, same time, same place, at Fox Sports. And for all the bets all week long, make sure you check out the Fox Bet app. Bye, guys.
See ya.
I'm going to buy a lottery.